Yesterday, a protest request was made from the Chinese side regarding Prime Minister Takaichi's response at the Diet session. In response to this, a side once again explained to the Chinese side the purpose of Prime Minister Takaichi's response and the position of the Japanese government, and made a rebuttal. The manager held a press conference on the 13th. Prime Minister Takaichi said, "There is an emergency in Taiwan." Regarding the recent post by China's Consul General in Osaka, it must be said that China's remarks as head of foreign exchange were extremely inappropriate, and after strongly protesting, they once again strongly called for an appropriate response from the Chinese side. The peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait is important not only for Japan's security but also for the stability of the international community, and issues surrounding Taiwan are caused by Taiwan. The consistent position of the Japanese government is to expect a peaceful solution. Also, the government's position on Taiwan is as stated in the 1972 Japan-China joint statement, and there is no change. We will continue to strongly demand an appropriate response from the Chinese side. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has openly made blatantly provocative remarks about Taiwan in the parliament, hinting at the possibility of military intervention in the Taiwan Strait. Even after China made serious démarches and protests, she remains obstinate and refuses to retract them. The erroneous words and actions seriously violate the One China principle, contravene the spirit of the four political documents between China and Japan, and breach fundamental norms in international relations. They blatantly interfere in China's internal affairs, challenge China's core interests, and violate China's sovereignty. China firmly opposes this and will never tolerate it. The Japanese side must immediately correct and retract its offensive remarks. Otherwise, Japan must bear all the consequences. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. It is also the 80th anniversary of the restoration of Taiwan. Japan once exercised colonial rule over Taiwan, committing countless crimes. Throughout its history, Japanese militarists have repeatedly used the pretext of a so-called existential crisis to launch aggression to other countries, including the brazen creation of the September 18 incident under the pretext of exercising the right of self-defense, provoking the war of aggression against China and bringing profound suffering to the people of Asia, including China, and indeed the world. Today, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi has again raised the so-called existential crisis situation. What are her true intentions? Does Japan intend to repeat the mistakes of militarism? Does it want to make enemies of the Chinese and Asian people again? Is it attempting to subvert the post-war international order? Taiwan is China's Taiwan. How to resolve the Taiwan question and achieve national reunification is a matter for the Chinese people alone that brooks no external interference. The Japanese authorities' attempt to intervene in cross-strait affairs is not only a blatant violation of international justice and an open provocation against the post-war international order, but also a serious damage to China-Japan relations. Should Japan dare to resort to force and intervene in the Taiwan Strait, that would constitute an act of aggression. China will meet it with resolute counteractions. We will firmly exercise the right to self-defense granted by the UN Charter and other international law to safeguard national sovereignty and territorial integrity. We solemnly warn Japan that it must deeply reflect on its historical crimes, immediately cease interference in China's internal affairs, and halt its provocative and transgressive words and deeds. Do not play with fire on the Taiwan question, for those who play with fire will ultimately get burned.
如日方胆敢武力介入台海局势